Hello and welcome to Wired In. I'm Diana Galata with Hampton City Schools. I'm very excited today to be joined by a friend, Paul Lawrence. Welcome.
Thanks Diana for having me on.
Paul, you're our Director of Information Literacy. So tell us a little bit about the career path that led you to this current role, which you just started this past summer.
Well, I started teaching 18 years ago in the city of Newport News at Woodside High School. And I worked there for 11 years as an English teacher. And during my time there, I got a chance to teach all different grade levels and a lot of different subject areas. And it was my first chance to really get a chance to work with kids in technology and some of the emerging educational technologies that were coming on the scene. I was there for laptops, and we take them for granted now because everybody has a laptop. But my first 2 years at Woodside, we didn't have laptops as teachers. And so got to see that sort of transition from paper to electronic mail, and then got to see the transition to smart boards coming into the classroom as well, and did a lot of professional development with the teachers at Woodside. While I was at Woodside, I got my, my endorsement for administration, and happened to get a job working for Tim Sweeney at an Achievable Dream Academy.
Okay, I didn't realize you were at Achievable Dream.
I was there for 2 years, yeah,
okay.
as a technology integration specialist. And what technology integration specialists do is they sort of take good teaching and they try to match it up with available technology. And you know, we did a lot of fun stuff at an Achievable Dream. They were really willing to try some new things, so we were able to start their AP program there by doing it completely online. And we did a lot of work with Promethean boards and with student response systems where students can kind of give immediate feedback on questions that the teacher asks. And that was all pretty new back then. That was about 7 years ago. And it was really an exciting time. Through Tim Sweeney, you know, he helped me and mentored me and kind of groomed me to sort of become a leader. And I was able to get a job here in Hampton City Schools at Kicquetan High School. That was 6 years ago. And started working for Richard Wright over there when he was principal, and got a chance to work with Dr. Raymond Haynes as principal and then Jeff Mordecai as principal, and try to continue some of the things that I had learned working as a technology integration specialist over there, and got to oversee the installation of Promethean boards at Kicquetan High School. Got to watch as we really got wired and connected with kids. I mean, this has really been a revolutionary time for us in the past 5 years for students becoming connected with the internet in classrooms. And it's a fun time. Students get a chance to sort of research and be a part of the people that find the knowledge. It's not so much a situation anymore where teachers have all the knowledge and students wait to receive it. Teachers and administrators, teachers and students now are collaborators in discovery. And that kind of wired in process has really been an evolution in the classroom. And so I got a fun chance to work with that at Kicquetan High School. And I think my work in technology at Kicquetan, you know, it was kind of a logical step for when the job for information literacy opened up, that I was able to apply and fortunate enough to get the job. And I'm excited about being there.
So it sounds like you have a great varied background, school administration, technology background that has led you to the current role that you're in. So tell us what your average day looks like in your current job. What do you do from 8 to 5 or 8 to 10, depending on the day? What does your day look like?
It's a good question. You know, it's been different for me because when you work in a school, your life is run by bells, and you are on the scene when the first student shows up on a bus, and you stick around until the last basketball player has gone home that night, and those are different kinds of days, but they're very predictable in that you're following the school schedule. And when I moved into this role, I was at first the biggest challenge for me was figuring out how I was going to sort of structure my day. And what I've tried to do is I've tried to get myself back into the buildings as much as possible. So I fill my calendar with appointments with teachers, trying to be in classrooms. If I'm not observing, I'm co-teaching with teachers. And what I really want to do is I want to stay in touch with what it feels like to be in the classroom and feel like what's going on with the technology that's in our classrooms, what's working, and what still needs some work. And so I've been trying to just spend most of my time, being as close to students as I can.
So another big piece of your job is the iPad program, which now we've renamed to Digital Learning.
Right.
So last year we had a pilot program where we began to roll out the iPads and making a few changes this year based on learning of last year. So tell us a little bit about what's going on with the iPad program and how we're using that iPad as a tool for learning in our classrooms.
Sure, a buzzword that's going around education right now is the idea of the flipped classroom. And for those that don't know, a flipped classroom relies on technology to deliver sort of what you would consider instruction, be it through web pages that are suggested by the teacher or videos of the teacher's instructions, so that students can sort of absorb instruction on their own time, which frees up the teacher and the student to then work on projects, assessments while they're together in the classroom, and the teacher can really facilitate learning and work one-on-one with kids instead of being they always talk about the sage on the stage, standing in front of a board, lecturing students, feeding them out the information. What technology has allowed a lot of teachers to do is to sort of move that part of instruction to the students' time, and then when they have those students with them in the classroom, they're able to work and really dig in on ideas that the students are interested in, and maybe areas where the students are struggling to comprehend complicated or complex ideas. They can break them down a little bit more and focus on the areas that the students really need the help. And it's been revolutionary for our teachers. They can deliver notes to students via the internet and receive homework back from students via the internet. Students can do labs online now and simulate all the different things that, when I was in high school, my chemistry lab looked, it had a Bunsen burner. You could light on fire right there at the table, and you could boil water and use all the different glass cylinders. And now most of those things have been replaced by a digital, kind of replica of those things. And you can do all of those labs online, and you can do them with each other and collaborate with other students. And it's an exciting time because I think it gives our students more opportunities to experience a wider variety of things in the classroom.
And so as a teacher, I imagine it can be a little bit overwhelming having all of these different applications and technologies in your classroom, but I know that we have a pretty strong professional development program that you're very involved in terms of helping our teachers stay trained and giving them ideas to how to use the technology in their classroom. So tell us a little bit about our professional development.
Our professional development sort of has been a two-phase process. And the first one that we wanted to work on really heavily was we've been working with teachers on the Google suite of apps, and for those who aren't familiar with them, it's your Gmail, but then it also is Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets, which is like a spreadsheet kind of formula, and then there's a few more too, that all kind of work together with your Google login information. And our teachers were already using Google to do email. Many of them were receiving documents and sharing them via the Google Drive. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to sort of formalize that process and make sure that everybody could have a full understanding of everything that was available to them through Google, and how there was an opportunity to sort of collaborate and share that I don't think we'd tapped into yet, and we weren't really using it to its full potential. So this summer we trained 110 teachers. We called them technology teacher leaders, and there's teams from every building in the division, every school in the division, and we trained them on how to use a classroom that we had developed online, and gave them sort of some background knowledge and helpful hints on how to answer questions, and sent them back to their schools to train the other 1,400 teachers that we have in the division. And it's been great. We've been sort of tracking their progress, and as of today, we've got about 550 course completers, and to be a course completer in professional development, a teacher has to have created an email list, and that's something we all do. If we have a group that we email all the time. We link them all together in one list so that when we email them, you just have to click on one button instead of typing in 20 names at a time every time. They have to create a Google Doc, and that's like a Word doc, but something with text, and then they share it out with another group. They create a slideshow, which is like PowerPoint. And these are things that teachers are all familiar with, but we wanted them to transition over to the Google apps. And then finally, we wanted to see them using the Google suite of apps in the class. So they had to do an observed Google lesson. And that means that they're done with the professional development. Like I said, we've got about 550 people completed, and we're working every day to sort of help those folks that are a little stuck maybe, or just a little hesitant to move forward. Like you said, it's very challenging to try new things. And the last thing we want to do is make teachers feel uncomfortable in their own classrooms when they're trying something new. So we spend a lot of time coaching with teachers and then co-teaching with teachers to give them the support they need to sort of get to that next level with technology integration.
So we talked a little bit about iPads, and that was the first device that we looked at in terms of pushing out beginning in grade 5. But now, as the program has rolled along a little bit, through usage, research, and visits, we've learned that perhaps at the upper grade levels, that a laptop might be a better choice. And so it's my understanding that we're looking at piloting the Google Chromebooks in 2 of our high schools beginning in January. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, like you said, we like to keep our eyes open and our mind open about what technology is available to us. And John Eagle, who is the Director of Information Technology, and I have partnered this year to visit with other school districts, talk to other directors of technology at other divisions. And one thing that we're seeing over and over again is that they're diversifying their devices, because one size doesn't always fit all, and it goes for lots of parts of life. And it turns out, it happens to be true here too, that the iPad has been great for us, and students and teachers have adapted their lessons to use the iPad and all the apps that are available on the iPad to do tons of exciting things. I mean, I wish we could take a camera around and just film all the exciting things that are going on with iPads in our classrooms. But what we're seeing also is that there is a need for some of our older students. Once you start to get older, work moves away from sort of multiple choice assessment. And anyone that's ever taken a college class knows what becomes the focus of your education is writing. And you have to write papers that are documented and cited and reviewed. And for anyone who's tried to type on an iPad, it does a lot of things really well. Typing isn't necessarily its strongest suit. So the laptop, and in particular the Chromebook, like you mentioned, offers a full-size keyboard. But then it also offers access to all those applications that we were talking about that make the iPad such a diverse and successful device in the classroom. So we're excited about this pilot that we're going to do at Kecoughtan and Bethel this year. We're going to pick out a couple of good teachers at each school and give them some Chromebooks and see what they can do with them this year. I think we're going to see some good results.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I have a Chromebook as well, and one of the things I've been amazed with is it's so portable, just like the iPad. I mean, you can take it around really easily, and it holds a charge very long time, which I know was one of the issues that we were dealing with the iPads in terms of the students showing up with them fully charged, and where do we charge them, and so on. So it'll be exciting to see how a change in the device will impact that program.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see.
So is there anything else about our digital learning program that you'd like to share, or about your plans for the future in your relatively new job?
Well, we're excited about moving on in looking at how Google can help us in the classroom. And Google offers a program called Google Classroom, which helps teachers to organize their students in an online learning platform. And then those teachers can share with their students, the students can share back with the teacher, and the students can also collaborate with each other on projects and papers. And I think that's going to be a next step for us. We want to help teachers sort of really embrace that Google platform of apps. Google has been great for us. It's free and it's super reliable. And it has been something where we're going to give students the opportunity to simulate what it is like to be in a 21st century work environment. where they are collaborating with their colleagues and they're sharing through email and electronic communication. When they create online and share online. And that's what we do when we work. And we want to show them that it's never too early to start practicing those lessons and learning those skills so that they can be successful in life.
Well, it's exciting to have you on board. It's very clear that you have a passion for this, and it's exciting to see where we're going with this. I hope you'll come back in the future and
Anytime.
tell us what's going on a year from now, but we really do appreciate you joining us today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
And thank you for watching Wired In. Have a great week.